Hello, brovs. I've recently become invested in book plates, as this book is about, due to the fact that I found an old copy, an actual first edition of A Kiss Before Dying by Ira Levin, which has been sitting on my sun porch for a few weeks now, trying to get the musty smell out of the book. The jacket itself has been revived to a normal scent of non-decay, but this book is in wretched shape as far as scent goes. Just permeates with mold, or not mold, but a musty scent. But anyway, the Ex Libris plate at the beginning of the book excited me enough where I could not leave it. Plus, if I can't revitalize this book to not smell awful, I can at least save the dust jacket and buy a respectable copy to couple with the dust jacket to have a collectible item. Anyway, that's the Ex Libris plate that I have recently acquired. That is piquing my interest back in Ex Libris books and plates, which I have a little section of them up here in my collection. But let's get to this book. You can see it on here. There's a little, what's it say? Can't really read it. I probably could if I had a magnifying glass. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Let's say F. Lofser and Company, Brooklyn Bookstore. Book plates of today. Does it say Tennell? Or is it Tennelly? Tennell and Company. 1902. Nice one. Amy Ivers Truesdale. Copyright 1902. Table of contents. Another book plate illustration. What's that say? Arnold William Brunner. American Designers of Book Plates, William Edgar Fisher. By W. G. Bowdoin. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, half of these are in black and white. Maybe they were originally as well. But as you can see, they're pretty cool. American Designers of Book Plates, William Edgar Fisher by W. G. Bowdoin. The book plate designers of today are legion because they are many. Almost everyone who can draw and many who cannot had ventured into the field of book plate designing, and the result has been that many of the book plates that are current have little to commend them to critical observers. The present increasing interest in these little bits of the graver's art has greatly encouraged the production of them, and new ones arise daily. It is desirable, therefore, if we are to have book plates at all, that they shall be as artistic as may be, and it is important from an art standpoint to all those who are about to adopt the use of these marks of ownership. They shall have, as they may have, the artistic flavor about them. Most of our leading designers have hitherto been grouped in the eastern section of our country, or at least not much further west than Chicago. Some few designs, it is true, have been produced in California, but for the most part, the book plates of note have been marked with an Eastern geographical origin. In William Edgar Fisher, we have a designer who has strikingly departed from geographical conditions of bookplate designing heretofore prevailing, and in faraway Fargo, North Dakota, has set up his studio from whence have come designs that are fresh, original, and very pleasing. Mr. Fisher loves to work in a pictorial field. He makes a plate that tells a story, and in his best plates, there is artfully placed something bookish that harmonizes with the design form selected. And because of art, coherence, and harmony in design that go hand in hand, his plates are more than satisfactory. The general Eastern notion in regard to North Dakota is that nothing artistic can come out of the state. But the work done there by Mr. Fisher quickly dispels such an idea. The plates he has drawn are acknowledged as high, meritorious by the best American masters of bookplate designing. In all the plates from the hand of this artist that are here grouped, and which may be regarded as quite typical of him, there are only two that do not contain a book as a detail somewhere in the finished plate. One of the exceptions is the plate of the Studio Club that gains infinitely by the omission of a book in the plate as produced. The grouping of the 5 observers, symbolic of the members of the Studio Club, around the feminine portrait is most charming. And to the writer, it appears one of the happiest of recent productions in appropriate book plates. Mr. Fisher's feminine figure that he introduces into many of his plates are likewise exceedingly effective. This is particularly the case when to the charms of femininity he has added those of symbolism, as in the case of the plate of For Miss Winifred Knight. Where is it? I don't see it. In which the graceful female masker appears at the shrine of the idealized god Pan. Who writes it may be something oracular in her proffered album. The figure is gracefully posed, and the lines of the arms and neck are marked by pleasant curves. I don't see it, but let's look at these. May Bruce Douglas, her book. Mary D. Lewis. John Charles Gage. Elizabeth Allen. Elizabeth Langdon. Leela H. Cole. In the plate of May Bruce Douglas, Mr. Fisher may have been influenced by Hans Christian Andersen. At any rate, whether or not this is so, as I've stated in previous videos, I don't want to rip the pages, so turning it slowly with caution. He has nearly and most effectively grouped the old-time jester with his cap and bells, the pointed shoes from whence came our modern samples, and the maiden with the quaintness of headdress and drapery. That at least suggests the fairy and the incidental sacred stork, making this plate with its self of books and the panel of repeated heraldic shields very attractive even to the chance observer. In the plates for the Misses Mary N. Lewis, Elizabeth Langdon, Leila H. Cole, and Elizabeth Allen, there are several diverse methods shown in which convention has been pleasingly utilized. The vine and tree forms that are motifs are very effective, and in all these we see suggestions of treatment similar to that which stands out perhaps a little more pronouncedly in the plate of Miss Douglas. Costume, quaintness, charm of pose, graceful outline, the tendency towards lectern detail, and delicacy of touch are in each instance here seen to be characteristic of the artist. The plate of John Charles Gage has in it the atmosphere of the monastery. Two friars are busy with a folio manuscript that has been beautifully illuminated. The one reads that lesson for the day from the Book of Hours. The other has a pleasing bit of gossip that he is telling to his brother friar as he reads, and the reader hears with eagerness with his ears while he reads without absorption with his eyes. Into the plate of Samuel H. Hudson, the atmosphere of the monastery is also introduced. The Cordelier sits absorbedly reading his matins. Through the open window of the monkish cell is seen the morning medieval landscape, whose charms exercise no influence upon the solitary recluse, solitary save for the monkey who plays sad havoc with the volume that lies upon the cell floor, and the destruction of which the Franciscan is too absorbed to notice. The monkey as a foil for the ascetic in this plate shows that Mr. Fisher has a strong appreciation of the most delicate humor, which here crops out most delicately. The border makes the plate a trifle heavy, but this can easily be excused because of the charm of the plate otherwise. Here's some new ones. This one's really nice. In the Stockhouse. Stanley Shepherd. The dog is given a prominent place in the plate of Miss Lula Thomas Ware. He dominates even the books, and it may be that the owner prefers her dachshund to her library, although it is evident that her books have some place in her esteem. The design on the plate of Stanley Shepherd suggests a derivation from an old print. The caravel rides upon the waves according to the conception of the old-time engravers. The anchor, the swordfish of the deep sea, and the sea stars all suggest the ocean voyager who has deep down in his heart a love of books. In contrast with the plate of Mr. Shepherd's appears that bearing the name of Sylvanus Macey, Jr. The love of hunting stands out right boldly here, and in the fox hunt does Mr. Macey undoubtedly revel. There it is again. He could not have such a book plate otherwise and live with it every day. Let it be in all his books and have it stand for him as it does, unless it was fairly representative of the man's personality. That is what makes a book plate so eminently interesting, aside from the artwork put upon it. Books appeal to all sorts and conditions of men, as the work of Mr. Fisher's here grouped clearly indicates. The plate from the books of Miss Edna Stockhouse is a trifle shadowy in motif, notwithstanding which there can be no doubt the owner loves books. The face in the book plate reads, "There is also a love of the beautiful in ceramics indicated as an incident in the plate. No wonder the head wears an areola." Or is it an areole? The Bilotta plate is that of a secret society at Wellsville, New York, and we therefore forgive it if we cannot forget its poverty of bookish design. That's Shepherd. Should not have turned back. Oh, there's the Bilotta one. In the personal plate of the designer of all those here reproduced, we catch glimpses of the artist's own personality. We see him as a book lover, and something of his inspiration is spread out before us. He goes reading along, carrying reserve volumes in case the one that engages his attention in the portraiture is happily finished. Mr. Fisher has been producing bookplates only since 1898, since which time he has, to his credit, some 40 examples of work in this field. He is perhaps happiest in his rendition of the plate pictorial, and he has sometimes tinted his plates more charmingly. Mr. Fisher prepared for Cornell at Phillips Academy, Andover, Mass. At Cornell, he studied architecture for 2 years with especial attention to drawings. He also studied for 6 months at the Art Institute, Chicago, Illinois, whither he went from Cornell. He has been largely self-taught in the matter of designing, but his work indicates that his teacher was a good one. He has privately, but carefully studied the work of the best modern pen and ink draftsmen, and from this he has formed his personal style. The methods and craftsmanship of reproduction were the subject of special study on his part while he was with one of the large Chicago engraving houses. Anything that comes from his hand will be sure of the most kindly reception, so long as his work is maintained at the present high standard. There's the dash hound he was speaking of. And then there's William Edgar Fisher. Again, there's the Bilotta Ex Libris, which is apparently a secret society, the Bilotta. And that takes us to the next chapter, to which I will return tomorrow with more. Goodbye. Goodbye.